Stanton and the Miami Marlins travel to New York to face the Mets.
Left right field towards the corner.
The pregame's at 3:30 Eastern, followed by first pitch at 4:30. Saturday on ESPN Radio. SVP and Russillo, the podcast.
Hey, it's Russillo and Kanell closing out the NBA regular season. Big win for New Orleans. The Heat Sixers also played. Brad Stevens was terrific. Should he win Coach of the Year? His thoughts on that. NFL day trading. Michael Wilbon, what to make of the Wonderlic test, and reaction to Adrian Peterson. New news today. Reinstated in the NFL, and we close it out with questions.
SVP and Russillo.
How are you today?
Good, man. Good. Softball practice last night with the kids, then got home, watched a little NBA. It was a good night.
How many days a week are we bringing kids to practice?
Pretty much every day there's something going on. Golf, soccer, softball, piano, some activity. But you got to keep them out of trouble. 7-year-olds, man. They can get into it.
So you're saying piano and softball, no gang life?
Yeah, hopefully not. That's
Okay.
the goal.
That's good. I like that formula. But last night, watching all those NBA games, and really the biggest thing was what was going to happen with the Spurs and the New Orleans Pelicans, because that game's in New Orleans. San Antonio could end up in the 2 seed, an easier road, home court, every round except for the Western Conference Finals if they faced Golden State. Or New Orleans on the other side, figuring Oklahoma City was going to completely put it on Minnesota, which is exactly what happened. Westbrook went off. They killed them. But that game last night with New Orleans and San Antonio, a New Orleans win, I'm going, man, this is good. I didn't know how invested the Spurs would be. It was a 108-103 win. New Orleans got up 20 in the third quarter. There's a big run at the end of the third, start of the fourth there for San Antonio, but they had to hang on, and I was really impressed with what seemed like the most important game last night.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and I was foolish in thinking it was a win-win, a no-lose situation for the Spurs, figuring that they were down at halftime. I thought maybe there was a chance Pop was going to say, all right, we've got our work. You know, the crowd's too much, the energy. But like you said, they made the comeback towards the end, and this game had huge implications for them when you look at them dropping from the 2 spot and having home court throughout until the Western Conference Finals. Now they're down at the 6. They've got a much tougher opponent in the first round in the Clippers. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects them. And I know everybody says, well, they're built, you know, they're old, they're veterans. They can win on the road. Well, guess what? They couldn't win last night on the road. And so now for me, because I've been on the Spurs bandwagon lately, like you've been riding the Golden State, you stuck by them. All of a sudden I was starting to buy into some of this momentum, and I'm a little bit on shaky ground right now.
Is that because this is the first game you watched start to finish in San Antonio for the first time in a while? I'm not trying to be a jerk about it.
No. I've since the last month or so, I've been dialed in a little bit more. But you start to buy into the hype on the Spurs because of what they've done recently.
I'm thinking about taking the Clippers in the first round. I'm thinking about doing it on the show.
And it wouldn't be that crazy either. I mean, yesterday we said that the Clippers might be the most slept-on team, and they probably are.
Hold on. Ryan.
Yeah.
They always say, don't let your heart get in the way of your picks.
Did you have them preseason?
I had the Clippers against the Cavs in the NBA Finals, but now I'm going Cavs Warriors. But in the first round, and I'm sneaky good with those first-round picks. How good have I been the last few years?
Very good.
I just don't
help me out.
Look, I've had the upsets. Yep. I think I got every one of them right last year. I think I got every first-round series right last year.
You know what else I thought was interesting last night? And I'm a little bit worried about it because I'm a Steph Curry fan. Because I think the MVP race might have been impacted last night.
Okay, before we do that, let's hear from Anthony Davis. Maybe that has something to do with it, okay?
Yep.
Anthony Davis on the win at home.
Man, go get Golden State. Man, it's an unbelievable win. You know, for us to come out and play the way we play hard, you know, against a tough Spurs team who was battling for something as well. The coach just told us to come out with a lot of energy. That's what we did in the first half. And it's the best part of the game of runs. They came out and made runs, and we knew that we had to sustain that run and make a run ourselves. And that's what we did. And everybody stepped up and played well tonight.
Respect the game.
I love Anthony Davis. That crowd was incredible. I mean, they were hyped in NOLA. They were ready to go.
Okay, so how does this impact the MVP?
All right, here's my thinking. Not so much Anthony Davis.
Okay.
But the fact that James Harden all of a sudden jumps up to the 2 seed, you don't think that impacts it?
I cannot believe how fragile we're treating all these.
But it is.
But
it has been fragile. I think there are a lot of people that are in Harden's camp. As much as you and I have been on the same page with Steph Curry and all that he's accomplished, all of a sudden it looks much different if he's right there with him, and people just look at the standings and see him right below.
You know what? I see them 11 games behind. I don't know. What is your
No,
website say?
it says number
Mine
2
says 1,
next to
Golden
him.
State, and it says 2, Houston. And
Exactly.
It says 11 games behind.
But people are shallow. They fall for stuff like that.
You're falling for it right now, but think about how
But what
dumb
about
this is.
Westbrook?
No,
What about
back
Westbrook?
up. Back
Okay.
up. Think how dumb this is. That because New Orleans beat San Antonio last night, that means Harden's now the MVP over Curry. Just say that out loud.
Is it dumb or is it how people think and how people are twisted?
Can it be both?
Absolutely, it can be both. What about the impact Westbrook had? The late movement comes on. He clinches the scoring title. He had 34 in the first half last night. He's been on fire. He had the big night a couple nights ago. I don't think he's going to make any push. I have a question for you, though.
I'd vote for Chris Paul over Westbrook.
I have a question for you. Is it like the presidential election with votes where some guy's going to take some from somebody, like regionally?
Who's taking him from Curry?
I've heard a lot of voices for James Harden.
I'm not telling
Chris
you.
Broussard, he's got a vote. He's going for Harden.
Okay.
I'm telling you, there are people out there that are giving his season credence.
I'm not telling
because
you
they got to the
shouldn't.
2 spot.
I'm not telling you shouldn't, but some of this stuff is really, really fragile, and I say this all the time. It's SVP and Russillo with Andy Kanell today, ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance, all of our guests in the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Think about a few of the things that have happened. Celtics, they lock up the 7th seed. They're 40-42. Somebody the other day, hey, should I vote? I'm thinking about voting Brad Stevens for Coach of the Year. I go, man, I don't know. There's some good options there. I think it's tough to go with somebody who's under 500. But if they won one other game, does that mean that he can win Coach of the Year?
Do you want to go down their roster again like you did the other day? You made his case for him when you said he's got nobody on his team, that he maximized every ounce of that team, that squad.
I'd probably go with Budenholzer in Atlanta with a 1 seed in the East and 60 wins. Now, think about Kevin Love, the example I used yesterday. I'm happy Anthony Davis is in the playoffs now, third year in his career, okay? Because I just think it's good to kind of get it out of the way. But if he doesn't hit that double clutch 3 against Oklahoma City a while ago in the regular season, that means none of last night matters. That was February 6th, and Oklahoma City would have been in, and then we would start of next year with the thought, Anthony Davis, yeah, he's really good. The numbers guys like him, but he hasn't made the playoffs yet. Is he that good? And it was one game, his shot, that changed the end of their season from essentially being in or being out. So does that mean he's a completely different guy? And the idea that because the Spurs lose last night and the shift happens and now the Rockets are the 2 seed, that's going to take votes away from Curry? I don't think you need to make it that complicated. You ask yourself simply, who is the most valuable guy to his team this year? And based on that team's success, for me, it's been Curry.
But that's why, as a former athlete, you sit and listen to all the people talk about you, and you realize a lot of them are just full of it. And a lot of them take what they've seen the last night and the last game they saw, and they roll with it.
I have no problem with the Harden vote. I have none. But if you were on the fence and then New Orleans beat San Antonio, and now that's the deciding factor for you to go to Harden because they're a 2 seed, I can't work with
I'm
that.
still for Steph Curry, just so
All
we're
right.
clear. All right. High five.
We do a lot of fake high fives on the show.
SVP and Russillo.
Joining us now here on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, he's the head coach of the Boston Celtics, and the Celtics are headed to the playoffs. Coach, not a lot of people saw this before the season started. It's been a great year. What did you think when the season started, what would happen?
You know, you go into every season, Ryan, and you're hopeful that you can get a group together that'll really mesh, that'll play well together, and that every single night you'll feel like you've got a great chance of winning if everybody does what they do best. And we've been really fortunate that we've hit a little rhythm of that as of late, and really starting before the All-Star break. We went on I think we were 13-26 or something, and we went on the West Coast trip, and when you first go on it looks like a gauntlet, but we were able to win 3 on that trip, and 2 of them were 1-point wins, and it really kind of turned our season around, and the mindset of the guys, and I think the way that we looked at ourselves.
I don't think it'd be a surprise to you, though, entering the year, thinking about the roster, thinking about how these rebuilds work, that you go, if we don't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world, and a lot of teams are positioning for that. What were the conversations like between you and Ainge as the season continued and you guys just got better?
Well, we had a meeting as a whole basketball operations staff, so the front office, the coaching staff, all of our analysts that do some of our stat work and those type of things, and we talked about at the start of the year, let's stop calling it rebuilding. Let's call it building. let's put that positive connotation out there for our players, because you know what, part of rebuilding also means that, you know, there's not a set roster. There's a lot of transiency that's likely to happen, and there was. And what's happened is those younger guys have really had to put their signature on this, and that increased ownership can go a number of different ways. But, you know, that's part of, again, the idea of building is you've got, you know, a guy like Marcus Smart needs to feel that sense of ownership. He needs to feel that, you know, when he goes into a game, he has a responsibility to his teammates to be the very best that he can be. And it's not only about showing up at the gym that night. It's about how he takes care of his body. It's about how he prepares, the film he watches, all of the types of things that go into having success.
Brad Stevens, the head coach of the Boston Celtics, SVP Russillo on ESPN Radio. So you've been in town now a couple of years. Give me your first or the most memorable. Okay, even though I'm the coach of the Boston Celtics, somebody at the grocery store is going to let me know what they think of my rotation story. Like, give me the most, okay, this is a little bit different here.
Oh, okay, so this is going to sound really crazy, but I don't get out a lot. So I really very rarely get recognized, and I always almost wear a hat. So to be honest with you, probably a lot more recognized in Indianapolis than here. And so I haven't really been approached by that too much. I think the one that stands out, I was at Fenway for a soccer game this summer. Roma played Liverpool in an exhibition game. So my son and his best friend from Indiana flew in, and he's, you know, they're big soccer guys. So we sat on the Green Monster and watched the game, which was just a thrill and a lot of fun, as any of those Red Sox games are. But we went to get something to eat, and, you know, they didn't act like they recognized me, but the guy who served at the concession stand just said, "Man, I hope you guys score more than this." That's all he said. So I think it was 1-1 in the 89th minute at the time. But that was it. That's the only one I can even ever remember being critical at all. It's been the fans have been great, and most of the time I'm not recognized anyways.
I talked to a few people that have NBA votes, you know, for postseason awards, and a couple of them are thinking about voting for you for Coach of the Year. Would you be surprised if you won NBA Coach of the Year?
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for me. I'd vote for one of those guys that got to 60 wins, and I think that's the way it should be. I think the teams that win should be rewarded. You know, I've told our guys multiple times when our guys have been nominated or ultimately honored with like a Player of the Week honor, like Isaiah was last week. Those almost always coincide with 4-0 weeks or 3-1 weeks, and if you win, you deserve to be recognized. So that's the way I look at it. I'm just trying to do my job as well as I can. I'm not concerned about the individual honors. I don't think our guys are concerned about the individual honors, but we're all really anxious to do well and do our jobs well, and ultimately, those are things that come as a result of winning.
You know, this is a weird question, and we've talked with you a few times in the past and get to know you a little bit. But because you're coming from college and because you're a younger guy, and the way you handle yourself, you almost hear these stories about NBA players almost pouncing on any sense of insecurity. How have you dealt with that transition? Is there anything at any point you felt like you needed to prove yourself to your NBA roster?
You know, I don't really look at it as having to prove myself, Ryan. I think the way that I've always approached coaching is I don't expect them to listen or think I know what I'm talking about just because my title is coach. I meet with them. I get to know them. We talk. I hope they see that there's a lot of thought put into our practices. I hope they see there's a lot of thought put into our game plans. Hopefully, as much as I can be, I'll tell them if I've made mistakes, and I'll do that. You know, some of those guys think pretty regularly. It's funny. Gerald Wallace came up to me and asked me the other day. He said, "Hey, why didn't we guard something this way all year? Now that we're guarding it a different way." And I said, "Because I'm an idiot." And he just walked off. I was expecting him to say, "No, it's okay, coach." He nodded his head and walked off. So he just accepted that I was an idiot and walked off. And you know, I think the biggest thing is that, hey, we're all in this together. We're all trying to do our jobs as well as we possibly can. None of us are foul-proof. And we just have to, invest in each other, invest in working as hard as we can. That's all I can do. I mean, I can't try to be something I'm not. I've got to be me. I've got to try to do my job as well as I can. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. And if it's not, and these guys second guess me because I'm a college guy, then fine. That's part of it. I don't have any grand plan to get anybody's approval. It's just work hard, do your job, and do as well as you can.
Do you know that number? I think the stat is right, that you've had more players on the Celtics roster in your 2 years than Bill Russell played with?
I didn't realize that, but there was no reason to have more than the guys they had. they were set, and you got to keep that group together as long as you possibly can. So I understand why. You know what? I knew we were coming into a situation, and I was coming into a situation where we were going to have to be patient, and time was going to be, at times it was going to be difficult. I'm not sure I knew how difficult. I'm not sure, because it was quite an adjustment for me, just the change from college to the NBA, more so the schedule and the lack of practice time, and then just how rigorous this 82-game schedule is. That was such a shock, even though you can somewhat predict that it's going to be different. You just don't know until you've gone through it. It's been fun the last couple of months for me to kind of see this thing come together. Now, it's tough to continue. Every game is hard to win. The difference between being 12th in the conference and being 3rd in the conference, really, when you break it down possession to possession, isn't that much. You've got to play well to do well, and I think that's something that we're just going to have to keep focusing on as we move, obviously into the playoffs and into the years to come.
Coach, you've done a really good job this year. Good luck against Cleveland.
Thanks, Ryan.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
SVP and Russillo.
No, but not for real.
A new game called NFL Day Trading. Here are the rules.
There are no rules.
There are none.
I was going to say, I didn't get it.
Respect the game.
There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're just making up a trade with draft picks for a guy, however you want to do it. I have no idea what yours are. You have no idea what mine are.
I want to go first. I want to start with the one you teased, all right?
All right.
All right, I'm Bill O'Brien with Houston.
Okay,
I'm going to management.
You have the number 16 pick in the first round this year.
Yeah. I want to reunite with my old quarterback.
Who, Ryan Mallett? We already did that.
Nope. The good one. The guy with the ring.
Rohan Davey?
Tom Brady's going to come to Houston and turn the franchise around.
Well, what are you offering?
Entice you. I'm going to give you that 16th pick.
I need more.
I'm going to give you that first round, and I'm going to give you a first-round pick next year.
Remember last year?
I'll tell you what.
Whoa,
I'll tell you what I'll do, because I still see you wavering a little bit. I'll throw in Brian Hoyer. So you got an armed, a sustainable guy who come in.
Ooh, Brian Hoyer.
Yep.
I don't. Well, here's Bill. Hoyer does some things good. Does some things that work on. There's a lot of value at 16. So yes, some years there's value, other years there's not as much value, but value is always what you're valuing.
Do we have a deal or
no?
not?
No.
All right,
I believe there's a price for anyone.
Okay,
but
all right.
If you're talking Brady in New England, I don't know how they do. I don't know that Belichick, as cold an operator as he has been. I mean, just strictly business. I don't know. I think Brady might be the one guy he can never do that with.
How about I give you the 16th pick and Jadeveon Clowney, a number 1 overall?
I'm still saying no, and I hate that you did that because I have a Jadeveon Clowney one. I can't believe we both hit on this. So, no, I'm hanging up. Sorry.
What about J.J. Watt? What if I entice you with
Watt,
him?
2 first, and Hoyer?
No, not the 2 first. Just the 1 first and Watt. I think it's more of a straight-up deal. But
you guys
I'm throw it in there just for you because it's the most important position on the field. Still not doing it. You're not doing it.
For J.J. Watt, I don't know. But he wouldn't want to pay J.J. Watt all that money. I mean, it's not the way we operate here in New England. Okay. Would you do – you're Houston now. You're Bill O'Brien. I am in charge of the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
I'm calling up, and I'll offer you number 25 for Jadeveon Clowney.
Now, a healthy Jadeveon Clowney?
No, present day.
I would need to do a medical eval. I would have
Somebody
to
get
know.
Stefania Bell in here.
I would need to know where he is with his knee issues. If he's healthy, if I believe he can come back,
Right
I'm
now,
not doing
I'm
it.
calling you and saying you have to make a move April 16th. You can check him out and fail him, but yes or no?
I'm not doing it.
That's crazy. All right, see, that's. I just want to know where we're gauging where we're at with Clowney. That's all.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, I wanted to do this one involving this guy just to kind of see where it's at. I'm Tennessee, light on quarterbacks. You're Cleveland. I'm calling you up. I'll give you a 7th-round pick for Manziel.
No, absolutely not. A 7th rounder? I'll just sign another free agent that's not drafted.
I had a collaboration with Stanford Steve.
Who
All right, so I'll bump it up to
Who
a
helped you with
4th.
this? Daryl Morey? We're hanging up on you.
I'll bump it up to a 4th-round pick.
No. I need a 2nd.
3rd, you'd think about that, wouldn't you?
Probably. I need a 2nd. Because here's the thing as a GM, if I just spent a 1st-rounder on him, even if it was my owner saying, he's so exciting to draft him, I can't admit defeat that quickly.
All the stuff is they're done with him.
Okay, but I'm not embarrassing
You're
myself
not done with
further.
him. Right.
Even if I was done with him,
you wouldn't want to admit defeat that bad that soon.
It's a lot like the NBA general manager that drafts someone, say 10th or 11th, and goes, "Wow, did we whiff on this?" But I'll still guarantee his 3rd year, so it doesn't look really bad that I'm letting him go 2 years later.
See, I was going to come in with 4th, and Steve's like, "No way." He's like, "Go 7th."
7?
Yeah.
I'll just sign another free agent that wasn't drafted. SVP and Russillo with Danny Kanell today. We'll get more to the Adrian Peterson thing here in a second as we kind of filter through what
this is way more important.
Yes. Okay, I'm Jacksonville. You are Detroit. I have the number 3 pick. I know he's really good, but he's had some injury issues. He is expensive, and you haven't won anything with him. I'll give you number 3 for Calvin Johnson. I need to get my man Bortles a weapon, Bortles service.
I'm not giving up Calvin Johnson. He makes the team. He makes the team for me.
I would hang up in shame because I'd go, I tried, but I knew it wasn't going to work.
Right.
Okay? All right, just checking.
I got one.
I think you're right there.
All right. I'm trying to think which side I want to take here. I'm the New York Giants.
Ooh, you played for them. You know them.
You're the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
We're just in different situations right now, right? We've got
I don't know. Are we that different?
This is.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm going to offer you Eli Manning straight up for Blake Bortles.
Oh, it's personal for me.
I know.
It's
that's
real
your guy.
personal.
But would you par with him for a guy with 2 Super Bowl rings who still has some good years in him?
Yeah, because I know that he's good enough to do it every week. And even though I like Bortles and Stanford Steve broke our preseason rule by falling in love with him, and then Van Pelt resented everything we ever said positive about Bortles all season long because he didn't watch in the preseason. Steve and I did. We came in the next day. What was wrong with us? I'm not giving up by any means, by the way.
No way.
Why were we so excited about his preseason stuff?
Because he had a cannon. He
throws,
was delivering
man.
that 20-yard comeback on a line.
Across the field?
Yeah.
Those outs, those deep outs.
Van Pelt's like, those against the 2s.
And I'm like, did you watch? And he goes, no. And then Steve and I got mad at him. So he had this whole Blake Bortles, man, that was a sensitive topic last season with this show. But I'm going to I'd still do it. I do it because I know Eli has been able to do the job.
Even the declining numbers lately doesn't bother
I don't
you.
care. I'm Jacksonville. Give me anything that resembles stability.
Wow. I would be thrilled.
Well, then we would both be happy.
Be happy.
Okay, final one here. I am the Philadelphia Eagles. You are the San Diego Chargers. I'll give you number 20 this year and a 2nd next year for Phillip Rivers.
Done.
No kidding.
I'll take it.
Because you think he's gone.
I do. I really do. I think when he says, I don't want to play more than a year if you're moving the franchise, I don't want to be hamstrung business-wise and not be able to move my franchise to a potential better opportunity because my quarterback doesn't want to move. And I think that could be a potential hiccup. Plus, he's 33 and he's getting older. Why not get somebody young? Get somebody in there.
That surprised me. I don't understand where Phillip Rivers has become or how he's become this guy. It's like, whatever, move on. I mean, you're still going to get 5 really good years out of him, aren't you? Or are you just so freaked out about the contract thing? Because he is not taking the money like every other quarterback does. And I don't know if he's really that freaked out about moving his kids. And I still don't understand why San Diego seems to be the only place he can bring his kids up the way he wants to bring them. Or I think
7 kids.
I think he
move
just hates L.A., though. When you read that stuff, he basically said at one point, like, why would you want to live here?
So he's not He's not going to be welcome out there anytime.
Has anyone shown him Manhattan Beach? Has he checked out Malibu?
Somebody who could actually afford a place out there, too.
You're not going to be in a slummy area.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Towns.
I'd be like, sign me up.
SVP and Russillo.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Joining us now here on SVP and Russillo with Danny Kanell, presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guest now on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Good to catch up with our buddy from PTI, Michael Wilbon. Michael, before we get to all the NBA playoff stuff starting this weekend, Adrian Peterson reinstated. It'll be effective tomorrow. As bad as look, I was super bummed out with Peterson because of what happened, but why do you think it took so long to kind of get to this point where we all thought it would eventually get to?
Because the NFL is running scared because of all of the happenings of the previous year. I mean, they feel they've got to, I'm sure, just go an extra length with every single incident that could produce public relations backlash. And there's some places in the country where this produced public relations backlash, and some places in the country where it didn't produce much of an uproar at all, depending on, certain philosophies of parenting and, sort of the corporal punishment, if you will. So I think the NFL is now in a mode of, okay, we got to be extra careful here. We can't sort of dismiss anything quickly. And it's understandable. We knew he was coming back. If not today, then tomorrow. He's coming back. And so the only relevant question now with Adrian Peterson to me is where he comes back. Is this going to work out with the Vikings?
Your reaction if he signs with the Bears is what?
Great. I mean, they're getting rid of Matt Forte. You mean do I have a cultural reaction? Do I have a reaction that is somehow one of protest? No, I don't. I think Adrian Peterson went too far with what he did. Went too far. I mean, there's a place where you can go too far. Do I have a problem with taking a switch to a child? No, I don't. And I don't really care who objects to my philosophy about that. I certainly had one used on me. And that's, again, I'm not saying that Adrian Peterson wasn't punished appropriately, but philosophically, would I have any problem with Adrian Peterson playing for my team? Not a bit.
Michael, what do you think of the Thabo Cephalosha incident? I mean, is this going to blow up, or is this going to quietly go away?
How weird is this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, it hurts their team, and that's the first thing you think of. And then, what are we talking about here? Look, this is a classic case, and it has nothing to do with sports. Was there overreaching by police authority, or was this a case of some sort of case of abuse? Were they stopping a citizen from getting in the way of an investigation, or did they overreach? I mean, it sounds like an episode of Law and Order, which, if the show was still on, we'd see it. So, man, I don't know. I mean, until we have more information, there are no conclusions to draw except that the Atlanta Hawks are going to miss a rotation player. I'm not going to, act like Cephalosha is, Kyle Korver. But this does not help the Atlanta Hawks going into the playoffs. They miss a veteran guy who can defend and play a couple of positions and has been around big games. It doesn't help. But until we know more, actually, factually, it's hard to sort of pick a side here.
How pumped are you? Your Bulls are getting healthy. D. Rose is back. They're ready to make a run, right?
Though.
Come on.
They're not getting healthy. They're not. I mean, the biggest sort of misconception going into the playoffs, guys, is that the Bulls are healthy. They're not healthy. Joakim Noah hasn't played in over a week, and he's going to play, but he's not healthy. I think he's probably a little better than he was last year when he went into the playoffs. He's just dragging that leg down the court against the Wizards. Derrick Rose now has soreness in the originally surgically repaired knee. Not the right knee, not the meniscus knee, but the original knee. So Derrick Rose, there was a reason why he wasn't out there last night. Trust me, he would have played 25 minutes or so because this was only his fifth game back since the second procedure, third overall. Kirk Heinrich, sounds like he's very doubtful. Sounds like Kirk Heinrich, can't help them much at all if he's out there. And Taj Gibson was taking a shot. He was shooting up his shoulder last night. That's four guys, including two starters, two guys who've been All-Stars, two guys who are the Bulls go as Rose and Noah go. It's great that Jimmy Butler's back there. It's great that Pau Gasol leads the league in double-doubles. And it's great that Mirotic is emerging and blah, 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 blah. But I just named four guys who the Bulls won't even beat Milwaukee if those guys aren't out there participating at a reasonably high level for most of the series. And I know it's like 7 home games. It is what it is. I mean, the games in Milwaukee will be 60 to 70% Bulls fans. If you guys haven't seen a Bulls-Bucks game in Milwaukee, you're like, why do we even move these? Why not just play them all in the United Center?
So, so if they have all these issues and you don't see them making a run in the playoffs, is this it for Tibbs?
I think this could be it for a lot of people. I mean, and Danny, you know more about this than anybody talking about it. I've heard players in multiple sports say so many times, when guys get hurt all the time, they stay hurt. The Bulls, their mantra all year long. I've been in a locker room a lot of days this year. Those guys have been saying literally to themselves in quiet tones, not in any sort of arrogant way, God, just let us be healthy. Just let us get healthy. Well, they can't get there. They can't get there. So what are you going to do with a team where everybody's hurt all the time? What do you do with that? This is a question that's going to have to be asked in Oklahoma City as well. And it's not just the coach taking the blame, although, the issues between management and Tibbs are much more than just sort of why can't one or two guys stay healthy? It's a philosophical difference on the direction of pro basketball now. This whole sitting guys out, resting guys, this has been under-discussed on Sports Talk Radio, on our shows, on television. Under-discussed. I talked to Chris Paul 2 days ago, and he talked about the pride he had over playing all 82 games. First time in his career he did it. And I said, Chris, the league is going the other way. And he said, I know. He said, people don't even want to, young guys come to the league, they don't even think about playing 82 games. And so this is a real philosophical point that the league is going to have to come to grips with. And so I don't know. You got resting people. You keep playing them. What do you do? But the Bulls do not look to me like anybody's team to make a long run in the playoffs if they still got health issues, and they do.
Michael, enjoy the weekend, man.
All right, you guys. Thanks for having me.
SVP and Russillo.
Mayo's the best condiment.
I want to pick the Clippers in the first round against the Spurs. I really want to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it next hour or do it tomorrow or not at all. Stanford Steve's. He loves that kind of stuff, and he's just looking at me all day today going, don't do it, because you think it's not what I feel.
Yes, I do. I honestly do. And I know I like to get at you a lot of times for your predictions, but I could see your reasoning, but I think the overriding factor is your love for Chris Paul.
Oh, I don't think that's it at all. We'll do this. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. We'll
do 3 hours on
Let's do promos all week, all night. Just will Russillo pick Chris Paul and the Clippers to beat everyone's favorite team, the Spurs. Spurs fans, though, you can have some. Just guys that didn't watch the game last night going, oh, whatever, they didn't even want to win. There's no way you watched that game last night and think San Antonio didn't want to win that game and get a better seed than the Six. With Danny Kanell, it's SVP and Russillo on ESPN Radio. So you went through the whole pre-draft process. I think we should do some serious Kanell story time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a what with Kanell, all related to draft story time. Because this time of year for you, did you like the extra attention? Did you like turning into a professional? How did this go for you?
Yeah, I was pretty pumped. I mean, I was ready to be done with college. Like, it was kind of those, you enjoy college, had a great time.
And you were there, just 4 years, right?
Yeah, just 4 years. So I was ready to go. I graduated.
You were supposed to be there 5, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to redshirt. I would have been, it would have served me better because I didn't play much football. Like, I only played 2 years of high school and then just 2 years of college. So I would have loved to have had another year. It was crazy, though. I remember I met with a bunch of different agents. I had to select the agent who I was going to go with. Actually went with Marvin Demoff, who was on the 30 for 30 with Elway. He was kind of the agent that was based around. But I remember getting phone calls. Actually, one of the craziest things, I was living with the linebacker, Todd Rebel, and we were out, right? We were out one night, and we went out. We got home at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And
this is what, after, like during the process, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was like February.
Okay,
like, we're getting ready for the draft, right? And I'm finishing up school.
And the idea that no one's ever going to go out, like we can
right.
show you doing burpees in Arizona, so some training facility all year, but come on.
So we get home and we're checking the answer machine, like dating yourself, right? There's an answer machine, the little thing, and you know how many? This is like 5 messages, and you're always hoping some of them from a girl, right? Like some call.
No idea.
But so we go through a couple, no girls. Like the third one, it's Joe Montana.
No way.
And Joe Montana left us a voicemail. We had that reaction. We're like screaming, like going nuts at 3 in the morning. Like, I can't believe Joe Montana called us. And he basically was calling on behalf of an agent, Tom Condon, and he gave his little, PR, stick and said, hey, I just wanted you to know I'm with Tom. He's the guy. He's the man, and good luck and all that. I saved that tape for a long time, like the answering machine, the actual tape, but lost it in a move somewhere.
It's too bad. We could transfer that to digital for you right here with some of our equipment.
That would be pretty cool.
Have you ever said that to him?
No, I never told him that story.
We're buddies. Van Pelt and I are buddies with Joe Montana.
You guys are tight?
Yeah. We had beers with him for a New Orleans thing.
He's pretty cool, dude. Much quiet, very reserved.
Seriously, he's really approachable and down to earth he's basically one of the guys. If you really think of guys for us growing up.
Yeah.
How many guys you put ahead of Montana in any sport?
Legend.
No, we were sitting there. It was the end of the New Orleans run for the Super Bowl, and I was toast. And we had to do this presentation at House of Blues, and Van Pelt and I were just sitting in a room, and Montana walks right in and kind of looks at us. We're like, hey. He's like, hi, I'm Joe. Nice to meet you. And then he said, you guys want to get a beer? And he just opened the fridge. I was like, all right, I guess I can muscle one of these down. All right, this story's not nearly as good. I'll shut up. I apologize.
The best part about it.
Respect the game.
Is we wanted to call him back at 3 in the morning, which would not have been good.
Wait, did he leave his number?
No, but we had star 69.
No way!
You remember star 69?
Are you kidding me? That was a big part of my social life.
Exactly. You missed a call, you hit star 69 and find out who it was.
Not even emergency breakthroughs?
He definitely did not leave his number. I think that was on purpose.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
We looked it up. And I was but didn't call him back.
So wait a minute, star 69, you got the number that he called from.
Yeah.
And you didn't call.
No, I couldn't do it. I didn't have the guts. Because he definitely didn't say, hey, call me back. It was just good luck, have a good life, good luck in your career.
I remember a buddy of mine that played with Ray Bork, and Bork gets traded to the team, and some of the younger guys after a week or so were like, Ray, can I get your phone number? And Bork just said to him in the locker room in front of everyone, why, so you and your buddies can call me drunk in the middle of the night? And the guy goes, all right, maybe I won't get your number. As if Bork was like, I've done this before.
Now, you're a celebrity now. What do you do when people ask you for your info? Do you give them – you don't give them your cell phone, do you? If you're out, you guys are on site at game day, and somebody's like, hey, how can I get in touch with you?
I usually just give them an email address I almost never respond to. So right. I'm the worst. It's like 7 of you guys out there. I'm sorry. But I can't really get you a job, and I'm up in a couple months, so I'm kind of worried about myself right now. So I'm sorry it sounds so selfish, but that's why I haven't got back to your emails. Danny Kanell, SVP Russillo on ESPN Radio right now. We were going to do the story on the Wonderlic.
Yeah, but Danny, what'd you get in the Wonderlic?
Now, I officially do not know.
What?
I never heard. Never. I wasn't. I was a fourth rounder. Nobody cares what a fourth rounder gets. Although I'm looking up some scores, and they're actually. I wonder how you look it up. If you can go back and there's a file.
I bet we could figure it out.
I'm sure Russillo could do it in the break.
Okay, so what's your concern here with the Winston thing? Because it comes out.
No, I just think it's interesting that we make such a big deal out of it when it absolutely has zero to do with football acumen. Or, in general, how much success you're going to have. It does not translate. Dan Marino scored a 15 out of 50, which was really low historically. Yeah, exactly, and I think he turned out all right. Terry Bradshaw, which you may or may not be surprised by it, was right around there. He had 16. Blaine Gabbert, 42, is really high. Does that translate? It doesn't at all. But I remember how hard it was. It was really hard. It's timed. And I was looking around at the other guys kind of see if they were as lost as I was. Because it was definitely, it's not a good feeling when you think you might even be able to know something on them, and some of them you have absolutely no clue what is going on.
But a lot of the questions, it's like reasoned thinking. They're trying to mess you up.
But there is some math, too. There's some complicated math stuff. I always thought I was pretty good. And apparently not.
They made me take it at an internship once.
What'd you get?
I don't know. They just were shocked that I finished all 50 questions, but I think I got them wrong.
SVP and Russillo. I got something to say.
Closing it out, Danny Kanell today on the show. Also, Outsider. People, how are you doing today, man? We haven't checked in with you.
I know. I've been quiet today.
What's the word? You all right?
Getting ready for EDM Friday.
I'm getting that playlist ready.
Yeah.
I like it.
How many hours you put into that playlist?
Probably on 3 hours now. Just cutting down some final cuts now.
I love it, man. So happy.
I'm going to be in a good mood all day tomorrow.
It's kind of bummed you said you didn't think I liked you yesterday. I get that, but I just don't know. I don't know.
No, I think you barely like me now. I don't think we would have liked each other in college. But I think we get along okay now.
Well, according to Stanford Steve, I was just a a mutant walking around by myself with a raccoon pelt tied around my waist and not befriending anyone.
You guys would have been like a really good twosome and 2-on-2 basketball, though. Like I could have seen you guys hanging out a lot, like hitting the gyms.
What if I
together.
respected your music? You know, where I was like, you know what, that outsider, he's a bit out there, but you know, he and I see a lot of the beats the same way now.
Find that common bond and then become really tight.
Yeah, and then you would say, hey, I got a leaked VHS copy of New Jersey Drive, and I'd be like, that soundtrack kills it, Volume 1 and 2, which I tried to download recently. New Jersey Drive, not available. It's a great soundtrack. Okay, I think that's kind of what I had to say. There you go.
Really?
What do you have?
I just wanted to send a little shout-out. Yesterday marked the end of an era. 20 years we've witnessed greatness. Stride up and down the catwalk. Giselle decided to hang it up. There were a lot of tears shed on that runway. I just want to give a little shout-out. Appreciate the work.
20 years?
That's what she said. I guess.
How old is she?
She's 34, but apparently I guess she started when she was 14. She went on her own terms. How you do it?
Here's the thing: as a model, when you're that, do you retire? Like, what happens? It's not like all of a sudden tomorrow you're not good looking.
She's just not going to walk anymore. I guess her legs are tired.
Yeah, I know. I guess. You ever run into a model later in her 50s? They don't walk right. all those years. All right, I'm just going to leave this alone.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm supposed to ask you about a guy from Louisville? You just wanted me to ask you?
No, somebody tweeted us. Kay Nicholas said, will Louisville pitcher Kyle Funkhauser be a first-round pick? And heck yeah, I think he should be. Got good velo, up around 97, 98. Got late movement on a two-seam fastball. His plus pitch is a slider. Upper 80s change. I think he's a lock.
Did you just look all that up or something?
Oh, man, I covered him.
You did? Okay. Yeah. Good stuff.
Ryan, I have a question for you.
Okay.
A week from tonight.
Yes.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Cavs at Celtics. Are you in?
I've thought about it, but I feel a little bit of a poser because I've just been so busy and then I've been traveling a lot. I haven't gone to a game yet this year.
No, I was thinking maybe you would just go to like the Greatest Bar or Harp to watch it.
Well, if I'm there, I'm going to go to the game. But I've done it before. I've gone up right after work, but that's the thing is you go Hartford traffic, you go Boston traffic, and then you get to the game, and then you drive back and you go home. Like, it's not the end of the world, but.
Were you at any time a guy who would wear a jersey to a game?
I wore a Pete Parcelletti jersey once to a UVM Lax game, but he was my roommate. I didn't buy it. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever. I have a lot of jerseys in my house, but those are more for late nights.
Maybach music.
Okay. What do we got here?
I think this one's pretty easy. Who's the guy from the show most likely to be sucker punched in public?
Me.
Really?
I have been, so I don't really know.
I get a little nervous going down in SEC country. I think it could happen.
Yeah, but they wouldn't want to spill their drink. So, all right. Worst Twitter fight you've ever had?
I don't compare anything, Danny. I never really gotten into a Twitter fight. I get into conversations, but I never get angry on Twitter. You? I mean, our boy Van Pelt is all over the place. But have you ever had a really nasty fight on Twitter?
Where I've just kept going and going with some stranger?
No, but like where you were
no, I had one with a guy that's not a huge mystery, but you know, I'm just going to leave that one alone. Yeah, I've had one. And I regretted it. Made a mistake.
Do you think you changed your voice at all for Olbermann?
I just want to be more clear and concise, but I don't think I changed it.
Because somebody asked who had a more proper voice, SVP at Augusta or Russillo on Olbermann?
SVP Augusta voice.
Yeah, he changed
runaway.
Golf.
Like a professional there.
Yeah.
You just watch him on TV. He's got the suit on. I'm like, look at their guy.
There's just such a graciousness with the way the guys in golf coverage speak, you know? I could never achieve that.
I got a question for Outsider. Who's your MLS pick this year?
MLS?
Yeah.
That's like LA Galaxy, right? Haven't they won it every year? I think I'll pick them.
I handed that one over to you. You got a pick?
For me? Yeah, I'll go with the LA Galaxy.
I'll ride that. I'll hop on that train too then.
Anything else? That's it, huh? So what are we doing? Are we going to meet up tonight?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit West Hartford. Or should we get out of town so you're not like so recognizable? Like, let's go somewhere a little more, where you're less noticeable, less famous.
You both could just wear hats in West Hartford.
Yeah, but I'm getting to the age now where people think I'm trying to hide something.
Plus, we're going to a nice establishment. They probably won't look too happily upon hats. Let's go more good.
All right, let's do it. It's chest day, too, so I'll have a T-shirt to put on. Walking around, all sweaty, post-gym glaze.
SVP and Russillo.
It's the return of the wild-style fashionist. Smashing hits make it hard to adapt to this. Put pizzazz and jazz in this, and cash in this. Master this, flash this, and make 'em clap to this.
ESPN Radio, bringing you directly to the biggest events in sports.
Center field, well hit, Hunter back, out of here!
From opening day of baseball,
Throw to the plate, safe at the plate!
right through the World Series.
For the third time in 5 seasons, the San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
Whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, or Kevin Durant, when the NBA tips off, ESPN Radio is right there when a champion is crowned.
We have a new world champion. The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
And when the magic of bowl season arrives, ESPN Radio is your home for the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio. Miguel Cabrera leads the Detroit Tigers into Anaheim to face Mike Trout and the Los Angeles Angels. The